Warning, this podcast is intended for adult audiences only. We discuss sex and sexual relationships in a frank and open manner. We are not marriage and family therapists or sex therapists, and the content provided is for informational and entertainment purposes only. If you are under the age of 18 or do not wish to hear explicit discussions about sex and sexual relationships or adult language, then you shouldn't listen any further. But if you are, well, grab your seat, grab a drink, sit back, relax, and enjoy this episode of The Accidental Swingers. Well, hey, everybody.
Hi, everybody.
Welcome to the Accidental Swingers podcast.
Happy to be here.
Well, that's good.
Shit,
You're part of the equation, so you should be happy to be here.
That sounded dumb. Let's start over.
We're Myrina and Tristan, a longtime married professional couple in our early 50s. Kids, dogs, cats, vacations at Disney World, you know, the whole 9 yards. But in 2018, we decided, after years of kind of talking about it, to live a non-monogamous lifestyle.
But it wasn't that easy, was it?
No, it wasn't.
You see, we sort of accidentally started swinging.
Yeah, we did. And we found our story so humorous and fun that we decided to record and chronicle our journey for ourselves so that we could go back and listen to our adventures.
And boy, have we had some adventures.
Yeah, we have.
In the last few years, we've found that we really love this lifestyle that we've chosen. And it's not only strengthened our marriage, but it's also helped us to grow both as individuals and as a couple.
And as we began to go back and listen to our recordings, we realized that others may really benefit from listening to and hearing about our mistakes and our very candid discussions about what we were going through and experiencing.
We talk about and we laugh about.
We laugh a lot.
Yeah, we do. We laugh about the mistakes that we've made, the crazy things that we've experienced, and the exciting things that have happened to us.
But we also talk very openly and honestly about the tough times, the emotional landmines and pitfalls we had to navigate, some rougher than others.
So we thought that we'd create this podcast so that others may gain some perspective or some insight and maybe even learn a lesson or two about what to do and what not to do in their own journeys.
And basically, you'll join us on our journey in real time because we will include excerpts of our recordings. Some will be quick outtakes, others will be longer conversations about what we were going through or experiencing at that time.
So grab a drink.
Or settle into your seat if you're driving.
Relax, sit back, and join us as we bumble our way through this adventure that we call
The Lifestyle. Well, hey, everybody. Welcome.
Hey, everybody. Welcome.
Welcome to the Accidental Swingers podcast.
Yes, episode 34.
Yeah.
And possibly 35.
Well, that's what we're thinking this is going to have to be. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're going to try and record this in one piece because it's one big story, but it's too long for one episode. So, yeah, that ought to pique your interest.
Yeah. It's piqued my interest, and I know what's coming.
Yes. But you're always interested, so
that's true.
That's
very true.
Very good. That's a good thing. So it's been, we always do kind of a quick update of things that are going on and wrap up of things that have been happening. So before we get started with our lifestyle journey. Mm-hmm. So what's been going on with us lately, babe?
Well, we've been, getting back out there and having fun and going to Caliente. We went to Paradise Lakes last night. We've been going out and just kind of slowly getting back in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We have a group play date tonight.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
Yeah, that should be really fun.
Yeah, we're going to try and record an after party tomorrow. So for those of you after party listeners, you get access to that and hear about our Paradise Lakes adventure last night and our group play tonight.
Yes.
Hopefully it'll be worthy to record.
Yeah.
If it's not, then don't ask.
If there's nothing, then that means it really sucked.
Right. Then don't ask about it. Right.
Don't ask, don't tell.
Just assume if there's no after parties, it's because they sucked. Whatever happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we did have fun at Paradise Lakes last night.
We had a great time.
Yeah, we talk about that.
We
haven't been there in a while. So yeah, we'll talk all about that. And then we have our trip is coming up. Mm-hmm. So if you haven't listened to us before, or we had originally scheduled a trip to the Dominican Republic to take listeners, to go with listeners. And it's run by a group called Tasty Tropical Party. They call these their Sway Ks, their swinger vacations. So we are partnering with them, and we're heading to the Dominican Republic in November. Mm-hmm. It's a little bit different than most kind of lifestyle trips, though. This is very exclusive, would you say, just because of the numbers?
Yeah, it's very exclusive and intimate.
Right. So we can only take up to 18 couples, and we already have about a third of that is gone.
Roughly, yeah.
So we have some folks are already signed up. Yes. So we can only take 18 couples up to 18, and we will be staying in fancy mansions, and we will be choosing our own excursions. It's all included, all food, all beverage. storage. Everything is all included. It's about $3,900 per couple for a week with everything included.
Yeah, it's all included.
All
Other than airfare.
Right. And the reason that we actually worked with them and said, let's not try and include airfare, because the only way to do that is just to kind of charge people a flat fee of like $500. But you can probably find a cheaper flight to the Dominican for sure. Last time we checked, it was like going to be $250, I think, round trip for us.
I think so.
So, so that's the only thing it doesn't count. But even your travel from whatever airport you arrive in the Dominican to the properties. So we are so excited.
Yeah,
this is really, really awesome.
Fun.
Yeah. And again, we get to pick our excursions. So what's going to happen is when the majority of the couples, by the time we get probably to September, we will send out a questionnaire to all the different couples and be like, some of the things that you guys find interesting? Like, do we want to do yoga on the beach? Do we want to have a group orgy in the moonlight? Tristan's already voting for that one. I'm going to tell you right now.
In fact, our coordinator, Rob, has already identified the locale for that.
That's right,
two potential locations for that. Yeah.
Yeah, because we were like, ooh,
Hell
moonlight orgy. Yes, that sounds
sign
awesome.
Me up.
Yeah, like everybody having sex in the moonlight. Yeah. It doesn't have to be an orgy, by the way. It's just like fun having sex outside in the moonlight. So there you go.
We did that a few weeks ago.
We did.
That was a lot of fun.
Needs to be in the after party too.
That's true.
Yeah, we need to do that. Yeah, because we forgot about that.
That's right.
Add that in. Yeah, that was really cool.
That was
it was
a lot
hot.
of fun.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. So we're already off track.
Yeah. So anyway, we're going to do it again, but in the Dominican Republic. And would you like to be there with us?
Yeah.
Then you need to come on this trip. And what's really awesome right now is that you can do it. They can divide it up into as many as 4 payments. So if you want to just put down a deposit and then pay as you go, that is totally fine. And we are so excited. We kind of held off on it a little bit to make sure that everything was going fine. And at this point in time now, the world is opening back up. People aren't wearing masks on airplanes. And so we're feeling pretty confident that this is going to be without a problem. Of course, if there is, we'll figure it out, but it looks like everything's going to be totally fine.
No, we're confident.
And they're open back up in the DR, so.
Yeah, we're confident that it's going to be fine and safe, and we're confident we're going to have a fucking awesome time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So gourmet meals, there's a gourmet chef that prepares the meal, the menu, and then actually there's a video about it on our YouTube. Well, you can go to our website and click on travel, and it says Sway K. So click on Sway K, and it will bring up a whole bunch of information. I put a whole bunch of information there about what it's like, what the excursions, the adventures, things like that. So it's got the information there, and it also has a link to our video that's on our YouTube channel, which basically was created for that video, but now there are some podcasts posted there, but there's no video with those yet. But when we start going live, that's where you guys are going to go find us live, is on our YouTube. But anyway, so that video is on our YouTube channel. It's about a 30-minute video. Rob came on and talked to us with our private community about the trip itself, and they asked questions, and we asked him questions, and he answered those questions. At the time, this trip was originally scheduled for March, so this was probably December of last year, but the information is still the same.
Yeah.
So the information's the same, it's just the dates had changed. We postponed that March trip to this November trip because of COVID. So I am just beyond excited, really. Like, it's something that's on my calendar, and I just keep going. I can't wait, and slowly but surely, like, other couples are joining us. It's going to be so fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, we
already have a nice group going. So
and we're going to start, and we haven't done this yet, but leading up to this trip, we're going to start having Zoom calls with all of the people who are going. And so we can start to get to know each other and start to talk about, what we want to do and what we want to plan. And actually everybody who signs up gets a free lifetime membership to our private community.
That's right.
And so within the community, with the folks who are going to the Dominican Republic, we're all going to have these Zoom calls, get to know each other, and kind of have like a little subgroup of the Sway K folks.
But you'll also have, like Tristan said, you'll have lifetime access to the community.
Else,
and the community, if you're not familiar with that either, our private community, it's a small community. Lots of different variations of how long people have been in the lifestyle. We find that a lot of the folks who are just getting into the lifestyle or have been in for a little while, they like to come into the community. We do a lot of calls about things that are very common issues when you're moving into the lifestyle. And so we talk about that, and then folks kind of do their thing and move on. And it's really a great place to kind of come and get your feet wet and get a lot of information, and everybody's so helpful. So we really enjoy having those calls. We do those once a month, and then I have a women's group and you have a men's group. And the women's group, we get in, we talk about women's stuff, and the men are not invited. And we talk about very personal woman stuff that I don't even tell Tristan what it's about. He's like, how's the call? And I was like, it was great. You don't get to know what we talked about. Usually Crimson and I are together doing those also. We really enjoyed those. And we started to record those. So we'll have a library of them. And the community calls are recorded. And anything that we do, like the after party and any other events and things, the community is notified first. It's kind of like they get the postings first. They get the audio first.
And they have access to all of those behind the scenes things that aren't generally available.
Like if we're going somewhere, the community knows we're going, but we may not put it on social media. And that's nice because we have some folks that are local here too that sometimes do come and meet us because they were part of the community and they knew where we were going, even though we didn't tell everybody.
Right. And all of our after party episodes are there.
That's what
we
I said.
Have some private, some video content of like video interviews that we've done on other podcasts.
Right.
Those are there as well.
The video wasn't published, but we have the video.
Right,
so
exactly.
that goes on. Yeah. So that goes on our community website. So if you're interested in that, join us for that. We are doing a special for that right now. It's $99 for a lifetime membership. That will go away, but right now that's what it is. So it's a fun place. So if you're thinking about, if you want to come in and join us and see what it's like, we would love to have you. It's a good place. It's a good group of people.
Absolutely.
So then the updates on the Sway K, when you join the Sway K, you get access to the community. We'll be doing private Zoom calls and chat groups within the community for the Sway K folks that are going. And then also, what's our next most amazing fucking thing we cannot wait for that we've been waiting 2 years now, 3 years now? 2 years.
It'll be 3 years. Yeah.
2020, 2021. This is 2022, so it'll be 2 years.
Well, we haven't been to New Orleans since 2019.
Right.
So
you're
that's
right.
3 years.
Yeah. So what are we doing in New Orleans?
We're going to go to Naughty in New Orleans.
Fuck yeah, we are.
July...
It's actually the 6th.
Yeah, we're getting in there July 4th and leaving July 11th. And so the event itself is, the Wednesday through Sunday. So whatever those days are.
Right. So it starts the 6th and it goes to the 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, and I think you leave the 10th. Yeah, so we're so excited. And we're actually going to be teaching some workshops there under our Swinky Life name, which is the 4 of us doing some education on swinging and kink, and we're going to be doing 4 workshops there, and we'll be having meet and greets. So the podcasters are getting together for meet and greets at Naughty, and there'll be more details about that when we get them. So if you want to go to Naughty, if you're going to Naughty and you're a listener, you can be part of our Discord group that is free. You just need to be going to Naughty New Orleans and be one of our listeners. So what we're going to do is, and that's actually going to open up in about 2 weeks. So you will be able to send me an email, tell me that you're going to Naughty New Orleans, and I will send you the code to sign up for our Discord group. And basically, the whole idea, if you've listened to episodes 8, 9, and 10, you know my thing is that I did not want to show up in New Orleans and not know anybody. So I created a Kik group back then. Kik used to limit people to 50 members. So we went to Discord. So we'll try it with Discord this year to see if we can get more people able to join the group. But it's just a way of getting to know people before you even go. So it's a way of connecting. We'll do Discord. If people want to do a Zoom call, we'll do a Zoom call. I mean, it's just about getting together. And then when we're there, we'll all plan a time where we can either meet at one of the bar takeovers, like, hey, we're all going to go ahead and meet at, Thursday at 4:00 at whatever bar, so that we can all say hi to each other.
Yeah.
It doesn't commit you to anything. It doesn't commit you to playing with anybody. It just commits you to meeting people before you go.
You're going to know people when you get there.
Yeah, which is just awesome, because then if those people know people, then you get to meet other people. So that's how it goes. Just introduce and play and not play, or just, get to know each other. And we really, really enjoy doing that. And we'll share photos and any information you want and stuff like that. So it's just a really fun way to get to know people and build up the excitement to Naughty with people that you are starting to get to know. And
yeah, and that's a good point for people who haven't been there before. They can ask us questions in the Discord group and ask others questions. And so, yeah, it's a great way to prepare yourself for a really awesome event.
Right.
And especially if you haven't been before.
Right.
The more preparation like that you can get, the better.
That's true. And true to form, I started a women's group the last time in 2019 as well. And the women's group is always different than the co-ed group, because the women's group, we always want to talk about the really important things like, what high heels should I wear? What clothes should I bring? What are the best the last time it was what were the best eyelashes to wear and what was the best lipstick to wear that didn't come off when you were given a blowjob or when you were in the playrooms. And there was a lot, but there was actually, we had some good information too. We had a couple people in the women's group that the women are not bisexual and they had never been before. And they were curious about like what happens when you're in the playroom and there's bisexual women. And it was a really heartfelt, interesting conversation because it wasn't negative. Everybody was just, this is what you do or how you do it, or you don't have to do that. It was a great conversation for people who hadn't been before to put their minds at ease about what the whole process is. So
what you're telling me is that there was a lot more depth in the women's group than there was in the co-ed group, because basically the co-ed group was just sharing pics and
talking. No, we all talked about because then people would come in and say, well, what is the foam party like? And then the people who love the foam party would chime in.
There was some substance. But
yeah. They talk about the different events and how this goes and do you really have to wear the outfits and how that works and all that kind of stuff. So there's some substance there. And again, getting to know each other. Where are you from? Those kinds of things. So it's super fun. So join the Discord group. That's the bottom line.
Yes.
Send me an email. We'll get you signed up. And that'll be, like I said, in a couple of weeks. If you're a part of the newsletter, the information will be in the newsletter. If you're not part of the newsletter, also go to our website and the little pop-up will come up about being on the newsletter. And that will give you, we send that out. The goal is to send that out only twice a month. So we're not going to cover your box with emails. And it's just updates about what's going on, what we have coming up, and then things like this, like how you can get involved and do more things and anything else that's really going down in the lifestyle area.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
That was a lot of information. Well, yeah, there's a lot happening. There's a lot going on. We're already starting to plan what we're packing and taking with us and, things like that. So we're going to have some goodies for our listeners who show up and join us at Naughty. If you want to go to Naughty in New Orleans, by the way, there is a link on our website. It is an affiliate link. We put anything that comes to us back into the party fund for our listeners. Mm-hmm. So we fund everything that if we go and we'll have like a little party or get together or a round of drinks or whatever that is, that all comes from basically the party fund.
Yeah, the affiliate income.
Yeah. So if you could do that, that would be great. Help us out. But what that is you'll sign up for the event. I think the main hotel is sold out right now.
Yeah, the main hotel is sold out. The Astor is sold out. And so they're filling the Overflow Hotel, which is the Saint.
Which is an awesome hotel.
Yeah, it's a beautiful hotel. In 2019, we went to a couple of events there and went to the dungeon. Well, the dungeon's there.
Right.
But then there are also some really super cool playrooms.
Right.
Yeah, it's just a beautiful hotel.
So we're excited to try out their playrooms this time because last time we
only played in the dungeon.
And we went to go into the playrooms on the last night, but they closed early, which was bizarre. Yeah. Normally you're open late, I think, on the last night. But it's really, really cool. So there are rooms available there. Every once in a while, they'll have cancellations in the main hotel. So just be on top of that. You can also call and find out. But it is not too late, and it is an amazing event. And we've heard that it's actually going to be the Saint will sell out, and
by the way, the Saint's only 2 blocks from the Astor, so it's
a block and a half.
Yeah,
even.
it's a
no, it's a straight shot.
Right, straight shot on Canal Street. Easy.
We went walking down in our slut clothes,
4:30 in the morning, coming back in
our slut clothes and looking freshly fucked. By the way,
yeah. We were.
Yes, we were.
We weren't just looking
been
that
rolling
way.
around all over the place. Yeah, because we were in our friend's room. Yeah. Had a little group thing going on in there.
8-way.
Yeah, that was kind of fun.
Mm-hmm.
There was no room on the bed. I ended up on the floor.
Yeah, I was on the floor with somebody too. Yeah.
Didn't care. Last night, balls to the wall.
It was,
man.
That was
there
the
was
last
literally
night.
Balls to the wall. Yeah. So we left the dungeon. We went to the playroom. We went back to the other room. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Good
times.
But yeah, so
2 months, baby.
Yeah, so join us if you haven't decided yet. Join us. There's a really fun sexual freedom parade on the first night, and that's the Wednesday. So that'll be Wednesday the 6th. And rumor has it that this is already looking like it's going to be one of the biggest parades that they had. It's not just for naughty. It is a sexual freedom parade. So everybody's invited. Anybody in the city, so people can come. And so we're going to have a big, huge, like it's a Mardi Gras parade. Mm-hmm. You walk down, you hold your signs, you throw your beads. Mm-hmm. It's really, really
it's
cool.
on Bourbon Street.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Now, is it the first day this year, or is it going to be at a different time this year? I'm not sure.
I'm almost positive it is
in the past
on the
it's
Wednesday.
been on the very first day,
right? Which is Wednesday.
Because we've always missed it because of some.
Where we were drinking.
Yeah.
Or napping.
Yeah.
The first year I got
Both years
accidentally drunk.
I really, really wanted to go.
Yeah.
We both really wanted
Yeah, I
to go.
forget what happened the second year. The first year I got accidentally drunk because we were just gotten there. You guys can hear the story.
Yeah.
We won't go
Episode
into it.
8, yeah.
Yeah, but that's why we didn't make it the first year. And I forget why we didn't make it last
Yeah,
year.
2019, I don't remember either.
Yeah, but everybody loves it. It's always a highlight. And so we're like, damn it. So we're making that. And we're going to naked speed dating.
Hell
this
yeah,
time,
that's the other thing we
because
haven't done yet.
No, that we hear that is a must do.
Yeah.
Naked speed dating. I have no idea how that's going to be.
I don't know,
I
but
still have some body things going on. Like, I don't
Well-
necessarily, but I mean, I've prayed around Caliente, but it's different when you're standing in front of someone having to meet them and you're naked.
well,
Like,
that's what we do at Caliente.
but it's different. I don't know.
No,
Well,
it's
guess we'll
not.
find out. I don't know. Well, it is different because you're naked speed dating versus naked resort chatting.
All right. Well, and I have body issues as well, but I don't fucking care now. I take my clothes off anytime I can and not get arrested. So
That's true. You do.
Yeah.
And I do too. It's just, this is something new
and it
for
just
me.
becomes
so this
such
is
a
out of the
comfortable
box.
thing. Like, like last night, for example, at Paradise Lakes. And so we came out of the playrooms. I'm naked. We're in the locker room. The locker room attendants, we're literally talking about the weather.
Yeah.
Because there's a storm coming
that's
in.
Right, that's right.
We're literally talking about the weather, and I'm standing here just completely
We're all
naked,
naked.
And just talking like it's no big deal. And because that's where I am now. I certainly wasn't there last time that we were in naughty New Orleans in 2019. So I don't know that I would have been prepared for naked speed dating then.
Right.
I sure as fuck am now.
That's true.
If I can
That's
talk
true.
to a locker room attendant about the weather after an hour of fucking, yeah, hair's all, so yeah.
Yeah. So I guess, we'll see. I'm excited.
Yeah,
There's
I
going
am
to be a
too.
lot of
This
stuff.
is going to be
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
We're going to have so much fun this year.
Yes. So we hope that you guys will join us. Let us know if you're going to be there. Look us up. Join our groups. Join our Discord group. And let's just have a great time.
Yes.
All right.
Let's.
Let's.
So speaking of the Saint and speaking of the dungeon in 2019,
Yes.
what are we going to talk about tonight, dear?
Well, this is an interesting shift.
This is not going to be a normal episode for us.
Yeah. If you've listened to us, you may recall back in episode 26, I think, we introduced one of our playmates. We affectionately call him the captain. And he was someone that we knew was into the kinky side of things. He had reached out to us. You can listen to the episode. We talk about it a little bit. And we had decided that we would go and meet him. I think that's what all we had talked about in episode 26.
Yeah, we talked about the fact that when we looked at his profile and looked at his unlocked galleries that he gave us access to, all of the pictures were all of these toys and kinky apparatus and things that just were terrifying to look at. And you said, oh, fuck no, I'm not going to meet this guy.
Right.
And I said,
but I'm not into this kink and BDSM
And
thing.
we were not at all. But I said, read his certifications. And he's got really amazing certifications. And so, based upon that, we decided to meet him.
But
And
we were still really nervous.
we were very
because
nervous, yeah.
One of the things that even in our very first profile that we had put down, like kink and BDSM, we didn't understand it. We didn't know what it meant. We were very uncomfortable with it because I was very uncomfortable with it. All I knew of it, and I'll be totally honest, I am one of the 10 people in the world that didn't read or see 50 Shades of Grey. You are number 2
yeah.
of the 10 people in the world
yeah.
that have never seen that movie and never read the book. I tried to read the book. It wasn't my style. And this was way pre-lifestyle.
Yeah.
But still, I enjoy a little, porn type of book. And I just couldn't even, it just wasn't my style. The author did not write in a style that I found enjoyable. So I never read it and didn't know anything about it. But had heard things. And the field that I worked in at the time, we knew about it. We had a lot of talks about it. It was not very complimentary. There was a lot of mental health issues apparently that the guy goes through and all these things. And so had a really negative connotation that you're mentally fucked up if you like kink and BDSM, and that it's very degrading and you beat people. And I just didn't understand a dominant submissive thing. I'm like, no one tells me what to do. That's not okay with me. So that's all I knew.
Right. And same for me. And these are things that they're kind of predominant stereotypes about kink and BDSM that we adhere to that I think are pretty common among people in the lifestyle and people in the general public that, yeah, it's degrading, it's humiliating, it's all about weird and depraved shit. It's all about pain.
Right.
It's all about paddling, spanking, flogging, all that weird, creepy stuff.
Right.
And
who does that?
Yeah,
who says, spank
it's
my ass or hit me really hard?
Right. There's just a lot of negative stereotypes out there that we believed. And it, for us, was very dark and scary. And so it's exactly exactly what our first profile said, is that we're very open-minded, but we have no interest in BDSM, which was reinforced at our first failed play date, because they were really into it, and we're like, what the fuck?
We didn't know. We didn't understand. We just didn't have any...
We had no experience. We had no context. So that was our mindset going into this first meet and greet date with the captain. And so, as I mentioned, this is going to be a very different kind of episode in the sense that we are going to compress several months into 2 episodes, because this did kind of occur slowly and gradually as our comfort developed with it. And so we just want you to know that this didn't happen right away. This wasn't a one day we're completely against kink and think it's scary and dark and depraved, and then the next day we're all in. It didn't happen that way. And we're still not all in because, it's not, because kink is like everything else. Kink is a spectrum, and you can kind of land anywhere along the spectrum that you want. And there's everything from hardcore BDSM to not, and everything in between. So, just to say that somebody is kinky means so many different things to so many different people. We were having a conversation last night with somebody and about this very topic that, it's nobody even knows what it means because it's so personalized. So I just wanted to point out that, that what we're going to be talking about over the next 2 episodes didn't happen overnight. It was over a period of months.
Yeah, it was like 2.5 months, I think, from the time the first. But because we wanted you to hear the progression for us in this style, as Tristan said, we're putting these together. So we're going to start off and play the audio from the very first meet and greet with the captain. So we're going to talk about that, and then we're going to talk about the dates that followed subsequently. So, but you were right. And one thing else I wanted to point out really fast before we play this part of the audio was that I think I even say it in the audio. He had reached out to us, and his profile was very scary because of the pictures of the toys and things that you mentioned. And you said to read the certifications. And I wanted to point out that we went, and I was very on guard. I did not think this was going to be something that I was going to be even interested in trying or even talking to him about, but decided to just go for it. What the fuck?
Kind of like everything else we've done.
Right. So let's listen to that audio.
Let's.
Okay.
And then last night, we met for dinner. Interesting guy, and I think we both it took us a little while to warm up to him. I know it took me a little while to warm up to him, and I wasn't sure that I was going to.
Me neither.
And I don't know at what point I did, but at some point I did, and I'm like, oh, okay. So,
me too.
Enough so that we're going to see him a week from Saturday.
I don't know. I don't know why it took a little bit longer to warm up. But it did. I was in the exact same boat that I was kind of like, not really sure. There was I knew that we weren't going anywhere with him last night. Right. I did too. Well, we had said that in advance. I mean, but I can change it anytime.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But I didn't. That's not how I wanted this to go. Especially, and some of that it was the hesitancy. So we met, and the reason we decided to meet. So let's back up a teeny bit. Let's talk about his profile. So he had reached out to us actually before. Now I remember. And I may have not even answered him. Or if he did reach out before and I answered him, he never answered back. Months ago, he reached out or had checked us out multiple times but didn't say. And maybe he was waiting for us to get some time under our belt. I don't know. So when he reached out this time, he had opened his profile pics his locked gallery. And in his gallery, it's tons of pictures of all his BDSM play toys. Just tons of, 7 or 8 pictures, like there may be 13 pictures in the gallery, and there probably 10 of them are toy pictures or something. I don't even know. In glancing at those, the first thing was like, oh, hell no. My response was, nope, that's way, when you put that in your locked gallery, when that's what you're offering up, that's what you're showing and that's what you're expecting or whatever. And so I was like, no, that's not going to be my bag. And then we read his certs. We looked at his pictures first, we read his certs, and we read his profile. We probably read his profile before, I don't know, and his certs were good. And I don't remember him quite as much, but I remember thinking, well, that's not bad. And, and it wasn't anything like, of course, probably no one's going to write a cert or accept a cert that says, he forced me to, against my will to do whatever. Those certs aren't going to make it onto his profile, but the certs were good. And it was like, all right, well, and just because that's what he has doesn't mean that's what you have to do. Right. And I think that he even alludes to that in his profile somewhere that
he's very versatile.
And
it became evident, I think, the more we talked to him, that he really is versatile.
And so that was why. So then it was kind of like, all right, so he might be a good guy to kind of test the boundaries with, was really what I was thinking and what we talked about. That might be, because you never have to do anything, and then, but if we wanted to or whatever, clearly he has quite the broad spectrum of things and whatever, and find out if he's trustworthy and all that kind of stuff. So that's why we met him. And so when we said yes, we would meet and arranged the time to meet, I think we had about a week or 10 days, and kicked a little bit, but not a lot. I kicked way more and hit it off way faster. It was more kind of like he just kind of a couple things here and there, and nothing really kind of took off. I think that was part of it too. Like, I didn't know him as well. Like, walked up and I was able to, jump right in a conversation with him and whatever. And even, I like that. I like kind of having that piece. And so it was just, it was okay, but it just wasn't the same level. So in chatting with him, and he's a professional guy, but he's super nice. Yeah, super nice. And he really is. I mean, you can kind of tell. And sometimes he would say stuff and I was kind of like, what the fuck is he talking about? Like, he either would jump ahead or he, in his brain, I don't know, like, I just didn't get it every single time, and I would have to ask him what, or what are you saying, or what do you mean, or do you mean whatever, and then it would become clear. I'm like, oh yeah, but it just, maybe he mumbled and I didn't hear it, my hearing's going, I don't know. But in talking to him even more and getting more comfortable with him, then it was like, yeah, this could possibly work. And then we did start talking about, so we told him our lifestyle stories, and he told us a couple of his, and then and I realized, as we're telling the story about our first time.
I know, I knew it.
So, you saw where I really kind of cut a lot of that out, because there's very good chance that they know each other.
Yep.
And I forgot I wasn't going to say we lived in I was going to keep it at and I slipped and I said something and we lived in the I was not even going to go there on the off chance, but I cannot imagine that they do not know each other.
Right.
So in talking to him a little bit more, and he is, you can kind of, you can tell, you're right, he's a real thoughtful guy. He doesn't do, like, he really, and I said that to him, I don't think you do anything part way, but he learns all about it, and he studies, and he makes play toys, but he's learned that, he's such a craftsman that that he gives that, if he pays that much care and attention to that, he definitely is going to do that into his playtime.
Right.
So that made it very interesting.
Yeah,
you and I both thought that.
Yeah, it's going to be really good, I have a feeling.
Independently of each other,
Yeah. That and him asking, how long do you typically like to play? You can just tell that he's...
Right.
He really... And he said, he said it straight up, but he also alluded to it several times, that he really enjoys pleasuring women.
Right.
And... I have a feeling it's going to be really good.
Oh, yeah, he cracked my back and even saying goodbye.
Yeah.
He hugged me and pulled me, and then he just did that, and my whole back went, and I was like, oh my God, that felt awesome.
Yeah.
Yes, do that again.
Yeah, so it's going to be good.
And and again, very nice guy, somebody that that in talking to him more became very trusting of and thought, definitely to give it a try.
Yep.
So you and I talked, and we set up, and we're giving up our weekend night of our retreat weekend to be with him, because we won't see him until April if we don't, because there's just no open weekend, and we don't want to do it on a weeknight because we don't want to feel rushed. Right. Well, of course he doesn't know that, but that was how we came up with. So we're seeing him next Saturday. And so today, you don't even know this, because we were kicking back and forth a little bit today, and which I really like. And he started off by asking me, he's like, what are your 3 favorite, I guess, erogenous zones? And I'm like, what a great question. And so I said, what a great question. I said, I don't really know. I said, definitely my clit is very sensitive. My nipples are not, but I don't know if I have to say like my 3 favorite, what that would be. And he said, well, judging from last night, and I had thought about this, like, I'm real sensitive to a lot of touch, and I thought about it, and he said, judging from saying goodbye last night, I think you're back. And I said, I agree.
Your lower back, especially.
I said, I agree. So that was like, oh, that was kind of exciting. Like that he knew that, he's the man's going to have skills is what it boils down to.
Yeah,
so I'm excited. So then he asked me some other questions today, and he said something about, how do you feel about blindfolding? Because I think that when you take away senses, it heightens senses, and you don't know who's doing what, and you don't know know what's coming. And I said, yes. I said, I'm open to blindfolds, but I also feel like I'm also very organic and I like things to unfold naturally. And I do not like agendas. I don't like rushing. I don't like it being on a schedule. And I don't like feeling like it all has to get done in one night. So I kind of, like, don't, like, this is not, we have to do X, Y, Z. And then, you know.
Yeah, we can grow into this.
Yeah, hopefully.
And him know, and which is the other good thing about how the story did unfold, because he did learn very explicitly that this is not a thing for us.
Right.
But he asked about boundaries, and we said we really don't have any.
Right.
Which isn't a mixed message. What it means is that we're open to trying things.
Right.
And so.
And he gets that.
Yeah. And he's smart and he's experienced. And so he'll know exactly where he can go and how he can, and in the intervening week, 10 days, 9 days, he'll be asking you more questions like that, which is
right.
great.
And so that after I said that about the blindfold thing, and then he said that about the blindfold thing, and then like a little while later, before I could even answer him, he said something like, I hope you don't mind these questions. It's more of a question and answer banter to get to know you before, I'm not being nosy. I messaged him back and said, I don't have a problem with it at all, and you can ask me anything, I'll answer anything. If I don't, I'll tell you why I won't answer it, and that's what I tell everybody. So that was nice. And then he asked me one other thing, and I don't think I've gotten back to him about it. But,
close.
Yeah, we're almost here.
It's
so, yeah, which is perfect. Yeah.
Building up here.
Yeah. Oh, it is? Yeah, because it's... So anyway, so that was last night.
Yeah.
So there.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to that too. I think it's going to be really good. And because I want to learn, because I know he's got skills, and so I want to observe, learn, and...
Yeah, the only other piece of information that I was going to say is that, and so I just want to ask that in your excitement about all of this, about being with him and learning and all that kind of stuff, is that you should be totally jazzed, super excited, all that stuff, but I need to have it on my own way. So I think do all your excitement and stuff, but don't talk to me about that. If that, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Not in an ugly way, but I don't want to feel the pressure of your excitement. I don't want to feel that I have to do what you want me to do because you want me to do it. Does that make sense?
It does.
Okay.
We only ever do what you want to do, so it's okay. I mean,
and you mean that in a loving, supportive, not because I'm a total bitch way. You mean that?
No, it means we go. You don't do anything that you don't want to do, and I don't expect you to do anything that you don't want.
So that was after our meet and greet with him,
which was a very interesting meet and greet.
Clearly,
yeah, it was kind of stop and start, but then it ended well. Mm-hmm. It ended well enough that we agreed to then actually have a play date.
Yeah, I when I listened to it, and I think, and I even talk about it, I was clearly intrigued, But
you kind of didn't want to be intrigued, I think.
Right. I was nervous.
Yeah, you were hesitant.
Yeah, I was hesitant. And I just, again, wasn't sure, was I going to connect with him? And if I'm going to try any of this crazy ass stuff, I wanted to really be connected to the person. And I didn't know how I was going to go.
Yeah.
But I was intrigued enough to move forward with it.
You can give it the old Myrina try.
Yeah. Which has worked out pretty well.
Yeah, it's worked out very well.
For me in a lot of situations.
And for me.
You. I would say and for you as well.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, give it the old Myrina try is not a bad thing.
And he was wonderful because he understood our hesitancy. And,
right.
And he's a very, very, as you say in the club, he's very thoughtful and he's very intuitive. So he understood, because, well, first of all, we told him flat out our hesitancy, but he, rather than being turned off by that, he worked with it. Because he could have just said, fuck you, you guys aren't for me.
Right.
But he was intrigued as well. And so he wanted to work with what we had to work with. And so, he basically said, whatever you guys are comfortable with. And he went at our pace, which was really masterful.
Right.
Yeah, he did a really good job of introducing us to this.
Well, let's talk about it. So we decided to go ahead and have the first date. Well, we decided to go on, he's still a playmate. So spoiler alert, this goes well. I'm just going to go ahead and mention that now. You've heard us talk about him. But unfortunately, the audio from coming back from the first date is total shit.
Yeah.
So I can't even salvage it. I tried. I really, really tried, everybody. So what happens, there have been, we weren't recording these thinking that anybody needed to listen to these later on. So we never went back and listened. We never checked. We didn't see if anything was good or bad. And there have been 2 or 3 times where the phone connected to the car when we turned it on, and we didn't catch that.
Yeah, so we were recording through the little mic on my steering wheel from my phone.
Yes.
Or wherever the
it's up actually
mic is.
above
I have no
yours,
idea.
Yeah.
That's one of those car things. I don't. Our listeners know I know
you're
jack
not
about
tech
cars.
savvy. Yeah.
I get in them and push the button and make them go.
Or I know, and now that you have a button pushing car, you're like, what's this key thing? What do I do with this? You quickly forgot analog. That flew out the window, but that's a whole other story.
Yeah.
So anyways, with this, we decided it would be better to really talk about kind of the play date, because we do have audio from a couple dates down the road that's really good. And so we're going to play that for you as the second part of this. But we wanted to talk about how the first date went, because it was really important.
Yeah.
And so that's what kind of you were alluding to. So go ahead and tell about
And so,
date.
it was a slow progression, which is exactly what we needed. And I think we alluded to it in that, we did in that audio, that we talked about that being our retreat weekend.
Right.
What that really was, our 1-year swingerversary that we talked about in episode 31 or 2.
Yeah.
And that's the actual Tristan observance of the swingerversary, the correct one.
No.
In the 3rd weekend in February.
The wrong one. The early observance.
Yeah. In any case, that was a big weekend for us. And we had planned a hotel getaway. We were staying, just in Tampa, but we weren't going anywhere other than just, here. But it was a dedicated weekend just for us to be in a hotel by ourselves. And we were going to kind of review the year and talk and just be with ourselves. Turned out that this was the only time that we could meet him without it spilling into like late May or June.
Right.
No.
I think it was April or something. So it would have been 2 months before we would have been able to see him.
Yes. It was a long time off.
Right. If we hadn't gone ahead and done it on our swingerversary weekend.
Yeah, the correct one.
No, the pre one, but that's okay.
The warm up. Yeah. So anyway, the point being, it was a big weekend for us, and we decided, all right, well, this is important that we explore this. And so we decided to do that, and you were not in a position to play.
Right. I had a UTI earlier in the week, and I had told him, I had contacted him like 2 or 3 days earlier and said, look, I have this UTI. I'm on antibiotics. Those clear up fast, but you just need to know. And he said, no problem. It'll be a couple days still, but whatever you want to do, we will do.
Yeah.
If you want to cancel, that's up to you. If you don't, we will move forward, but we will do whatever pace, whatever things, anything that you want, that's what we will do. There is no push to do anything. And if you get there and you're like, I can't play, that's totally fine, but let's still have the play date. And I said, okay, which I really appreciated.
Right. Yeah.
So I was not 100% going in. So I was dubious.
Yeah, you were dubious to begin with.
Right.
And then add physical limitations on top of it. Yeah. So this is a recipe for a date that could have gone very poorly.
Absolutely. Come to think of it. Yeah.
And especially considering we were a little, as mentioned in the audio, it took us a long time to warm up to him in that meet and greet. And that kind of continued when we actually met him again. And we met in a restaurant and we spent maybe an hour talking. And the same sort of thing. It was really difficult to kind of get conversation going until we started talking about the lifestyle.
Right.
That's when everybody kind of lit up.
Right.
Because then we were on common ground. So once we started talking about the lifestyle, then everybody became a little more animated and the conversation started flowing more easily. We all became more comfortable. And then we went back to his house.
Yeah, we started talking about our experiences, things we had tried. He told us some of his, and he's been in a lot longer than we have.
Yeah, oh yeah.
So then we went back to his house. I was still not sure, but I thought, you know what?
Yeah, you had even talked about, you had considered pulling the plug.
Yeah.
I think you went to the restroom or something and you said, I'm not so sure about
I
this.
know. I remember sitting there and going, oh my gosh, what do I do? And I thought, you know what? No, let's
just-
go,
we're here,
Myrina.
let's go.
Put your big girl panties on.
Or take them off.
Or take them off. Take your big girl panties off and get in there, see what happens. Yeah, that's really kind of what it was.
Yeah.
And it was all nerves.
Yeah.
It was nerves, but I talk about it often, and the captain knows too. I'll tell this story in front of him that had it not been for him, this particular person who was so willing to let it be my agenda, it was 1,000,000% my agenda. He was just there.
Yeah.
And
He was a facilitator.
yeah. And it was wonderful the way that he handled that and allowed that to happen.
Yeah.
So we went back to his house. And he showed us what we found out later was he showed us his collection of toys that he wanted us to see at that time.
At that time.
Like he chose his beginner toys, which were still terrifying as fuck. But later on, he confessed that he had drawers and drawers of way more stuff. He has this big like medical cart thing, and all the drawers are, you open the drawer and all like the dildos are lined up, and then you open the next drawer and all the torture instruments are there. And I'm like,
various clamps
and things. And I'm like, what the fuck is this for? What the fuck is this for? And it actually was really cool because you can't find that kind of stuff. You can't go to a play store, to a toy store and see someone's collection like this. They're all in packages and you can't touch them and feel them and be like, roll it, the wheel, the spiky wheel
Morton's
thing.
Wheel. Yeah.
Yeah. That you roll on your arm, and how to do that with pressure, what that feels like when you change it or do this, and so it was really cool to be able to have this kind of show and tell with him on that. And he fucking loved it.
Yeah. And so what he did was he started with all these sensation type things and showed us those things.
Right.
Which he rightfully and accurately determined was something that we would be comfortable with because that stuff feels good. And, like the little head scratcher things and the little balls that you roll on your skin and just, things like that, and things that are very sensory and sensual that we enjoy a lot. And at that point, that was really all we enjoyed.
Right.
And so that's a nice, easy step into something that's a little bit different.
And that was a genius way to do it because I was like, ooh, that feels good. Ooh, that feels good. Ooh, that feels good. I'm like, well, why don't you take off your shirt? Okay.
Okay.
Let's try that. Like, rub that on my nipples. And ooh, that feels good. Or then, why don't you take off your clothes? Okay.
Oh, and I'm going to get the massage table out. How does that sound?
Yeah, I think that sounds like a great idea.
I
can totally go for a massage. And actually, that's what he did.
Yeah.
And it was, again, he probably played me like a fiddle.
Oh, he did.
But I didn't care. I'm like, string me up, baby, because he was so good at reading me. And it made this maybe, and this is the question I have never asked in these years. Are all women like this? I don't know. I would suspect that most of us are, because it was just so attuned to me. And he just made me feel like, I was the only person that he's ever even brought to his house. And that is, but that's him. Even in the awkwardness that we had beforehand, we got there and everything shifted. He was in his element.
Yep. He
was showing us his toys. He was so proud. He is a masterful, he sees things still, and he's like, things in the store to buy, and like, ooh, could do it with this or change it into this. And he just had so many things, and he did an amazing job of luring me. Me willingly going, by the way. I'm not that dumb. I'm like, oh, hell yeah. But yeah, like one of my favorite things still is the head scratcher from Bed Bath & Beyond,
right.
The like $5 head scratcher thing, because you're on the table and you just whatever, then that starts rubbing your head and you're like, oh my God, this is just, it totally melts your body. But yeah, so he did that and laid me out on the table after like letting me put the things on my arms and touching. And you too, you were doing it as well. Because you need to know what he taught us so much. And one of the important things to know is what that feels like.
Yeah.
You need to know whatever you're holding in your hand, how that feels, the pressure feels, things like that when you do it to somebody else, because you don't want to just do that willy-nilly.
Right.
So that was a kind of a turn on too for you, because you're feeling it, I'm feeling it. I'm like, I want somebody else to do this to me now, because I do love massages. I do love touch like that. And he knew it from having cracked my back when we first met, and then the conversations that we had had on Kik about like my erogenous zones and things like that. How much did I really like touch? So he did a lot of homework beforehand, which I also really appreciated, because it just made it that much better, the whole experience that much better.
And he was able to select from his collection the things that would fit that model for what he perceived was going to be your pleasure that night, which also shifted when it was going to be basically just touch and soft swap. That shifted things as well, and he was prepared for that. And so, just all around very, very, he's a craftsman.
Yes, in many ways.
Yeah. He's a craftsman at pleasuring women. He's a craftsman at creating, he's very creative, creating toys, creating environments, and creating an entire experience.
Yes.
Yeah.
But he takes the time to get to know you. So I want to point out why we're talking about this. If you're a couple or a single guy or anybody listening to this, it's so important to hear the way that he was so respectful, but so studious, and that even the first experience, which can be so terrifying, was amazing. because he took the time to do that. And it was just the questions that he asked and the things that he did. And so it was such a great lesson, even for me, when I meet other people now. It's like asking some of these questions that are really in depth. Like if I'm getting ready to meet up with a play partner and really want to know them beforehand and ask these questions, I learned from him. I learned from the captain about how to kind of really talk to people or the information that I want to make sure someone knows.
Yeah, just
to
as
share.
importantly.
Yeah. It was really awesome. So he lured me onto the massage table. That was really tough.
Yeah.
Hey, you want a massage? Yes. Thought you'd never ask. Because he had mentioned that to me. And so you guys got me on the table naked and started playing with some of the toys, the different things.
Well, first we gave you a four-handed massage.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah, and then once you were loose and limber and
I loosened up a
you
lot.
were putty.
Yeah,
then,
I was.
That's when
That's right.
Yes, the sensory toys came out.
Yeah.
Things like, like he had this rabbit fur glove and the Wharton's wheel that I mentioned before that you just roll along.
Yeah,
It
it's real
really
pretty.
feels amazing.
Yeah. But it can hurt if you
Yeah,
press
if you-
hard.
depending on how you-
It's all about, it's a spectrum.
Mm-hmm.
It's a spectrum, even how much you use, how you wield the instruments, where you hit. He did a little light flogging, which I've never had before.
And I think that if I'm not mistaken, I believe it was only he has a flogger that's made of rabbit fur. Mm-hmm. And so it's very soft and it's a very sensual feel when it falls. So I think that was about as far as he went with you that night.
Right.
And he let me use that on you also. And
Showed
so
you and talked
he
about
showed
it
me
a little
like
bit.
where to, which is also incredibly important, where, not so much with something that soft, but you have to know where to hit and how hard
Yes.
and not to do it in the same place. And all is just in the course of doing this to you and demonstrating, he was teaching me in a very natural way. It was really, really impressive.
Yeah, and it felt amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you said I turned into putty.
Yep.
I also got very wet.
Mm-hmm.
It was very erotic.
Yeah.
Yeah, having both of you there, kind of using these different toys. And first I was face down, then I flipped over. Mm-hmm. Totally different sensations on your top side than it is on your bottom side. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that was really cool. And then I do believe you guys orally pleasured me as well.
We did. We took turns going down on you.
And I think I had a few orgasms.
You did.
I think I flooded his house.
I think it was many, many,
He
not
was
just a few.
too. It's so interesting that just the foreplay of the massage and all the touch and the feel. Yeah, and I was turned on as fuck.
Yeah.
And then came everywhere.
Yeah, you were completely engorged
Yeah.
and ready to go.
Yes. And I did flood his house. And I was like so embarrassed, because it's when you don't know someone. And I didn't expect to squirt as much as I did. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Now more often than not I do, but you just never know. I never know. I don't know. Sometimes I squirt and I don't even know that I'm squirted because that's what my body does. But yeah, so then he got these special, like they're under bed pads that I've ended up buying some because they're so great. But I was like, oh my God, it was really embarrassing when you don't know this person. And I was like, oh, like his floor was wet. He's like, it is no problem. Trust me. And I'm like,
Yeah, it's
okay.
not a problem. Yeah.
He fucking loves it.
Yes.
Yes.
As do I.
So it was apparently the goal at that time. I was just like, oh, I'm so sorry. But it was really, 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 really hot. And it was just the best way. I am almost glad that we could only do kind of the soft swap.
Yeah, I think
Time. It took a lot of pressure off,
Yeah.
honestly, in a weird way.
Yeah, in hindsight and looking at it in context, I think that was a great thing.
Yeah. So it was really, really good.
Yeah, that helped with the slow introduction.
Mm-hmm. So I remember heading back to the hotel for our swingerversary retreat after we had our play date with him. And we were talking about it. And I don't know if it's in any of the audio or not about us talking, and maybe the piece that's bad that I couldn't hear that it's reminding me of. But I remember saying to you that I was totally fascinated. Like, I want to do this again, but I'm not really sure. But I do, but I'm not, but I do.
Yeah.
Like I was really, really, really uncertain because I felt I was standing on the edge of something that was scary for me.
Yeah.
And I didn't.
Well, for both of us.
Yeah. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what to do. I don't know if I trust this guy. What if I really love this stuff and I go off the deep end? Like, this is where my brain goes sometimes. And I was like, I don't know that I want to be a kink BDSM person. Like, because it's mean and it's nasty. Like I still had these negative connotations about it, but clearly this guy was a kink BDSM guy. And I clearly liked this soft, kind of super sensual side to it because I really enjoyed it. I came many, many times and we didn't really do anything. You know, it was just the stimulation and the excitement. So I was worried. And I think I even said to you at that point in time, like, if we continue on with him and we decide to have him as a playmate, we are only ever going to do this like once a month. I don't want this to become something that I want that is a standard for me.
Right.
Because I don't want it to be my standard. I want it to be an enhancement.
Yeah, we don't want to come to a place where this is required every time we have sex in order to get off.
Right. I don't want to. Yes, exactly.
Yeah. We have the same philosophy around toys.
Right.
We don't want toys to become such an integral part of what we do that it is all that we do.
Right.
And that my fingers or my cock or my tongue is not enough for you anymore.
Right. And I was always really worried about that.
Yeah.
We've learned how to enhance
ourselves. It's an
with
enhancement.
That. It is. And we've learned how to do. I was always very nervous. Now I really enjoy the enhancement, but it still is not always necessary.
Right.
You know, anyways, that's a whole nother podcast. We'll talk about that another time. But yeah, so that's exactly what it was. I didn't want it to be something that I like craved, like I couldn't get off if I didn't have whatever this kinky side that I felt was there underneath for me, but I didn't know what it was. And it felt like this big scary thing in a cave that if I let it out, was I going to be able to contain a monster? I really felt like that. And I didn't know what to do with that feeling.
Yeah.
And so it was exhilarating and terrifying all at the same time.
Well, two things. That brings up two thoughts. One that I already said, which is that kink is a spectrum.
Yes.
And it doesn't mean that it has to be then this hardcore, monster coming out of a cave. It can be whatever you want it to be and whatever level is comfortable. And that level of comfort can expand or contract and just being aware of it. And then the second thought that was spurred is whenever we found ourselves, as you described, on the edge of a cliff and thinking, this could go one way or another, and I'm afraid to move forward, we've always had better results when we've moved forward, and we've never regretted moving forward. Because if we go forward and we try something that's scary and we love it, that's great. We've learned something and we've enhanced our lives. If we try something that's scary and we think, not so much, let's try it one more time to make sure. And if it still isn't something that we like, then we just don't do it again. So I think that what we've learned, especially in the last couple of years, is that when we come to these points in our lives and we come to these points in the lifestyle where something new is presenting itself and we're scared by it, that's kind of when we need to pay attention and realize this is an opportunity. If we're really nervous about something, it may be because we're justified in being scared of it.
Right.
But it also may be because there's an opportunity here to grow.
Right.
And I think
and push a boundary.
Yeah. And I think for the most part, we've done that and we've grown and it's been awesome.
I think that's a really good point that I hadn't thought about. Absolutely. But this was the first thing that really did push a boundary for us because we're not going to have boundaries. The only thing we're not going to do is kink and BDSM. So we don't have boundaries. And then we stepped into this. It's like...
That's a really good point because as you were saying that, I thought, well, having separate dates was scary and single guys were scary, but we never said we would never do that.
Right.
This is the first, you're right, this is the first thing that we came up across that we said we will never do that. And here we were,
like,
faced with, do we try it? And
then we tried it.
And we tried it.
And it wasn't terrible.
So
do we try it again?
Yeah. And we did.
But like with more stuff.
Yeah, with more stuff.
And more harder and more other things that go along with it. Yes. That is exactly true.
Yeah. And I think that sounds like the next date.
Yes, it does. But I think this is a really great place to pause and end this episode because we want to play. There's a big piece of audio and we can't do it all in one episode. So we're going to stop here and then pick up the rest of the kink story and the other audio in episode 35.
Yes.
So
I think it's a great plan. It's almost like that was outlined.
On one of these very fancy outlines that we have sometimes, most of the time, all the time. I don't do them.
I know.
And you did an excellent job on this outline, honey. Very good job. So let's stop here. And to let you guys know, we are actually going to pause here. We're going to keep recording, though. And so we'll get this episode out within about hopefully 10 days or so, because this is really important for us to put this all together. We wanted to present our introduction into the world of kink in a way that you saw the progression very quickly, as Tristan said. So this is over like a 2.5 month period. So that was our first meet and greet with the captain. And then our first date, which was just the soft swap, but it turned something on inside of both of us.
Yeah.
And I think I even said to you at some point in time, I see you so excited about this, and I love that you're excited about it, but you need to let me do this at my pace. Don't be excited. I think I even said to you, don't share your excitement with me.
I think that's in the audio that we're going to have in the next episode.
Okay.
Yeah,
I couldn't remember. Okay. Yeah. I can't remember if it was in the good audio or the bad audio, but yeah, because it was really important to me that I needed to do it on my terms and you needed to do it on yours. We just couldn't talk about it because I didn't want them to influence each other. We needed to be able to have our own journey, because if you came out of it and said, you know what, not good for me. And I came out of it and said, oh my God, that was awesome. We were going to have to work that, but I didn't want to have a preconceived notion. No, Tristan's already not liking this, so I better not like it. And I think we did a good job with that. I think we did a good job of being very open with each other and allowing each other to explore the space.
Yeah, that's kind of how we approach everything.
That's true.
Yeah.
But we learned that. That was only a year in. We do it now naturally, but that was only a year in. I was kind of setting the stage for those things. So
True.
Yeah. All right. So let's wrap this one up.
Okay.
Don't forget, find us on our website. You can send us an email. Send me an email, Myrina@accidentalswingers.com. If you want to get information on the Sway K or actually Naughty New Orleans, the group information about Naughty in New Orleans is on our website as well. And if you sign up for our newsletter, that will automatically get you into getting the information about the Discord group for Naughty in New Orleans. It'll get you the information about the Sway K and any other things that are going on. So if you're not on our newsletter, please make sure you do that. It's just updates about what's happening with the Accidental Swingers, where you can find us, what we're doing, how things are happening. We've got some fun things coming up this fall. So you definitely want to get on there so you can make sure you get notified as to when we've got some big changes coming. It's going to be super fucking awesome. I cannot wait.
Yes.
But we have to make it through the summer first. But anyway, and find us on Instagram. You can find our main account is @Accidental Swingers, or you can find Tristan
@Myrina's Tristan.
That's because he's Myrina's Tristan, everybody. You bet your ass.
There's no apostrophe in it.
It's just Myrina's Tristan. And then on Twitter, we are @Myrina_Tristan. But if you search Accidental Swingers, we will come up. So that's where you can find us. And check out the YouTube video Accidental Swingers channel for the Sway K if you're interested in joining us. If you have any questions about that, shoot me an email. I'm happy to answer them. And if I don't know the answer, I will find out the answer. But join us for that trip. It's going to be fucking amazing. It's going to be high class, super high quality, and we get to pick what we want to do.
Yeah.
I'm going to probably be voting for the bourbon tasting, but that's just me. Or we may do the rum tasting, which makes more sense when we're in the tropics, but we'll find out what we end up choosing.
I think a hybrid or two tastings.
We could do that, yes. If we're so excited.
And
there's so much
actually,
other
I'm
stuff.
going to throw tequila into that mix as well.
Ooh, that might be really good too. Yeah. All right. Well, we'll have to figure it out. So join us on our trip. But for now, we will say thanks for listening and join us for part 2 about our kink adventure.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Take care, everybody.
Good night.
Bye. Love this episode of The Accidental Swingers? Pop on over to your favorite podcast platform and subscribe to our show. And while you're there, you can leave us a review. You can also visit our website, accidentalswingers.com, to get show notes, read our blog, or find out about our next adventure. Join us next time and listen along as we bumble our way through this adventure that we call the lifestyle.